Hey, everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive?
Let's do it.
Awesome. So today we're looking at something super important in the world of clinical trials.
Yeah.
It's all about the money.
Oh, yeah. Always comes back to the money.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, how do you keep track of all the finances in these massive, complex projects? We found this resource that's like a guide specifically for financial management teams involved in clinical trials. And one of the biggest takeaways, well, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Consistent accounting practices.
Yes.
That's like the golden rule.
It's huge. Yeah, absolutely. So much is at stake.
Yeah, exactly.
When you think about it, these trials, they can cost millions, sometimes even billions of dollars.
Crazy.
And it's not just the money. We're talking about really complicated logistics. You have teams all over the world, different countries, different regulations.
Totally.
And in the end, it all comes down to the patients. That's why we do it. The impact on their lives is just immeasurable.
Right. Yeah, no doubt. Okay, so let's break this down. This whole GAAP thing, generally accepted accounting principles.
Right.
It sounds kind of basic, right?
Yeah, it can sound that way, but honestly, it's like the foundation.
Okay.
The bedrock of everything we do in financial reporting. Think about it. You've got researchers, you've got labs, you've got hospitals, you've got investors.
Yeah.
All these different players. And they all need to be able to see the money trail, understand where the money's going, how it's being used.
Yeah.
And GAAP, that's what makes sure everyone's speaking the same language,
Right.
From the scientists to the people holding the purse strings. It's vital, especially when you're dealing with these huge sums of money. You're making critical decisions about a trial's future based on this information.
Right, yeah. It's like, got to make sure everyone's on the same page.
Exactly.
Especially in a big multinational trial. Imagine trying to sort that out without a common set of rules. Chaos.
Oh, yeah.
The source also talks a lot about consistency.
Oh, yeah. That's key.
Why is that so critical?
Okay, let me paint you a picture. You're in the middle of this huge trial. Things are moving, data's coming in. And then, boom, there's a discrepancy in the budget.
Yeah.
Maybe a payment got recorded wrong, or an expense was put in the wrong category, and suddenly you're in a nightmare.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah. If your accounting isn't consistent from the get-go, it becomes almost impossible to untangle that mess.
Right.
You're looking at delays, wasted resources. Worst case scenario, it could even jeopardize the entire trial.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that makes the house built on a shaky foundation analogy make a lot of sense.
Exactly. It's that important.
Yeah. Okay, so then the source mentions transparent reporting and pristine documentation.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely essential.
Can you give me like a real-world example of how those come into play?
Sure. Let's say you're in the middle of a trial and you get hit with an audit, which, by the way, is pretty common. Yes, super common in clinical trials. Now, if you've got transparent reporting, that means every single expense is documented.
Okay.
It's categorized correctly, and it's easy to trace. So when the auditors come knocking, you can just pull up those records, show them exactly where every dollar went. You're golden.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, if your documentation is a mess, if it's not clear, it's just going to create doubt. It's going to raise red flags. It could even mean penalties. Or in the worst case, it could even halt the trial.
Wow.
So yeah, big deal.
Yeah, so it's not just about like avoiding getting in trouble. It's about being able to prove that everything is on the up and up.
Absolutely. And that level of accountability, it requires a really sharp team.
Right, for sure.
You need everyone to be on board. That's why training is so important. And building a culture of accountability, If everyone on the team understands how important those records are, how important it is to be consistent with accounting practices, well, then it just becomes second nature. Like in the source, they compare it to getting your morning coffee.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, just part of the routine.
Exactly.
So it's not this like scary, burdensome thing. It's just how we do things around here.
Exactly. And honestly, it makes everything run smoother, more efficiently. And in the end, that translates to a more successful trial.
Exactly. And that means getting those potentially life-saving treatments to patients faster, which is what it's all about, right?
Absolutely. That's the goal.
Yeah.
And it really underscores how crucial the financial side is to the whole process. We're not just talking about numbers here,
Yeah.
We're talking about ensuring the integrity of the trial. And ultimately, we're talking about improving healthcare outcomes for everyone.
Okay, so let's recap. GAAP, that's the common language that keeps everyone on the same page, financially speaking. Consistency is key to avoid those costly errors and delays. And transparent reporting, along with really organized documentation, that's your best defense if you ever get audited.
It's the truth.
But here's a question for you all listening out there. How can you apply these principles, consistency, transparency, and accountability, to your own projects? And I'm not just talking about clinical trials here. What about in your own work or in your personal life even?
That's something to think about.
It is, yeah. Food for thought. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
Thanks for having me. It was fun.
Always a pleasure. Until next time.